Hello everyone, this is Krista and welcome to the Feminine Takeoff. Today I'm gonna do things a little bit differently. I'm gonna cook or attempt to cook while filming a video. I can cook a little bit. My mother was a chef. She owned her own catering business, but I don't like cooking for personal reasons. I used to love cooking, but then just some things happened and I don't have time and so on and forth, so I don't enjoy cooking too much, but I love cooking for either myself and people who I love. It's one of my favorite ways to show affection. Cooking is I like to cook for intimate people, like for no more than 4 or 5 people maximum. Even 5 is pushing it. I like to make cute little food and desserts and so on and forth. So anyway, I'm gonna make one of my favorite things, which is lamb chops. Call me the big bad wolf because I love lamb chops. I will eat every single one of those little lambs. I'm sorry, forgive me, but I love lamb chops. It's my favorite things to do. To make when I'm cooking. It's my favorite thing to eat when I'm out of the restaurant. For someone who eats this many lamb chops, I'm surprised I haven't blown up and became a lamb. Anyway, this is why I'm single. So anyway, let's begin. And again, so I made some topic. I don't know, I wrote these when I was at work, so that's why they're on paper. Usually they're on my notebook, but I didn't feel like transferring it because I scribbled so much. So I'm gonna actually be reading or trying to remember to read my pointers while I am cooking. So again, the title of this video is 10 attributes of a feminine woman. So let's get started. I'm gonna wash my hands and we will begin. It's been so difficult to position the camera, honestly, so it's gonna be difficult for me to I'm gonna be a little bit off camera sometimes if I get too close and so on and forth, but please just bear with me. I'm trying something new here. So let's get started. So I'm just gonna wash my hands. I just got home from running some errands. I've already washed my hands, but I'm a slight germaphobe, so I do enjoy washing my hands quite often, to be completely honest with you. Okay, so let's clean up a little bit. I don't want to use this cutting board because it is actually just for props. So I'll be using these little cutting board and this one. Let me close the fridge. So I don't drink alcohol, but I like to have mocktails or little juices. So this is actually just like a sparkling juice that I enjoy from Whole Foods. I really don't have any business drinking this much juice. I'm supposed to be on a little mini workout plan, but leave a little. Okay, so let's get the lamb chops out. Just a big one. I know it's gonna be so hard because you can't really see what I'm doing, but again, the point of the video is just for me to do the talk video and just happen to be cooking. So the focal point is actually not the cooking, but give me a second. I just want to close my bedroom door because I don't want all the cooking smells to get inside. Okay, I am back. So I've got the lamb chop here. So let's get started in point number 1. So 10 attributes of a feminine woman. Point number 1 is flow. Femininity does not fester. Okay, so I wrote that because I used to do this. I used to fester all the time. Someone would do something to me and I would just How do I open this? So point number one is femininity is flow. Femininity does not fester. So I used to do this a lot when I was a lot younger. I used to fester on things. So someone would do something to upset me or hurt me, and I would just fester. I would hold on to it. It would upset me. I would think about it and get myself all worked up, and then I would see them and then I would get upset. I would remember them and I would get upset, and so on and forth. So point number one is femininity does not fester. Okay, think of something that is festering. When you think of the word fester, when you think of something that is festering, don't you kind of think of like water that is old and festering and so on and forth? Well, that's exactly what I think of too. Or like if femininity is flow, then things that flow don't fester. When you think of like, I don't know, anything that fester, it accumulates bacteria. Think of like water that's just sitting there festering. It's accumulating bacteria, and so on and forth. I'm trying not to touch. I'm trying not to touch too many things. But anyway, so when you think of anything that's festering, for me, when I think of the word fester, I think of like a water that's sitting out and it's just accumulating bacteria. And femininity does not do that because it flows. Now let's move to point number two. Point number two is femininity observes, allows, and has understanding. Okay, now there's a difference between agreeing with someone and having understanding of them. So I'll give you an example. Let's say there's a small child and they want to stay up and play, and you understand why. You understand that they want to stay up and play because, I don't know, maybe their friends are playing and they're up to, or you have guests or a party over, and so the child is excited, right? That's your understanding of it. But your lack of agreement to it is saying, yes, I understand, honey, that you want to stay up and you want to play, but it is your bedtime, so unfortunately you're going to have to go take a shower and go to bed. Okay, so that's the difference between having understanding and agreement. You don't have to agree to everything you understand as a feminine being. Another example of that could be, okay, I understand that you don't want to be a provider, you don't want to provide for me, marry me, or honor me in my standards. Let's say your standard is to get married before intimacy, or let's say that your standard is to have exclusivity before intimacy, and this person is saying, well, I can't be exclusive. First of all, it's really rare for someone to tell a feminine woman that they do not want exclusivity. If you're dealing with someone and they're telling you as a feminine woman that they do not want exclusivity, I would like for you to think about why they're telling you that. What have you, just think about that. Just, because femininity doesn't entertain anyone who would even have that mindset towards them. Okay, so let's say that you're dealing with someone, again, back to what I was saying. Let's say femininity has understanding, but just because you have understanding doesn't mean you agree. So what I mean by that is, again, let's say that someone is like, hey, I want to sleep with you, but I don't want to be exclusive. If that's your standard, I don't want to be exclusive, and I also don't want to provide for you, but I really want to sleep with you. Well, you can say, hey, I understand why you want to do this, because you're human. Intimacy is a big thing that humans crave and desire. So I do have understanding of that, but I don't agree, so as a result, I'm not going to entertain you. And so I wish you the best, and it's all with love. Take care of yourself, okay? So that is what I mean by having understanding but not necessarily agreeing. Let's say that someone wants to be exclusive with you and take you off of the market, yet they want to still entertain other women, other people, and so on and forth. Well, you can say, hey, you know, I understand that you want me to be exclusive to you only, whether that means like a ring on your finger and so on and forth. But let's say that you do not agree that they should be seeing other people while they have this said exclusivity with you. You can say, hey, I respect, you know, you wanting to be exclusive with me and want to be with me for the rest of your life or for however long the terms of that exclusivity is. But because you I don't agree with you wanting to be exclusive with me, taking me off of the market and still seeing other women, I'm actually going to revoke if you already given them exclusivity, or I'm going to refuse exclusivity with you. So again, femininity observes, has understanding, and proceeds with love. But just because you observe and have understanding and proceed with love and you are gentle does not mean that you agree with anything or any nonsense that people present to you. You just love them through it, but keeping your own boundaries. Okay, as I said, always boundaries are a pillar of sanity when it comes to a feminine woman. So without boundaries, say goodbye to your sanity. All right, so point number 3, what did I write for point number 3? So point number 3 here is femininity ensure its safety and comfort. Okay? Femininity is not sacrificial. Contrary to popular beliefs that like a feminine woman risk everything, like think of a mother. A mother doesn't necessarily mean that a woman is feminine. Yes, she's a woman, and all women have some aspect of femininity within them, and so do men. Everyone has some aspects of femininity within them, but just because someone is a mother or is motherly or mothering does not mean that they are feminine entities or feminine beings. So femininity is not sacrificial, and contrary to popular beliefs that a feminine woman sacrifices herself for everyone, she puts everyone first, she puts everyone before her goals or before her needs and desires. I would like to beg to differ and beg to disagree, not beg, but I would like to disagree and say that femininity doesn't do any of those things. Femininity is not some sacrificial lamb or some sacrificial being where their needs don't matter. You cannot be safe and prioritize your comfort as a feminine woman if your needs do not matter. That simply just doesn't make any sense, right? So why do I say this? I'm going to go a little bit deeper in this. I think that anything that creates life should require safety for itself and for that life. Okay, think of in the animal kingdom, which we all are as humans, we are kind of animalistic in a way, right? Okay, I seasoned the lamb chops, just light seasoning for today. So think of the animal kingdom. We are all animalistic to an extent, right? So when you think of in the animal kingdom, it is a male that has to fight another male to prove to the feminine animal, the woman animal, the female animal, that he's strong enough to defend her or to protect her, right? Or just to show off, right? It is a male in the species, in the animal, most of the time. It is a male who goes and takes the big risk, right? The femininity sits back and watches or accepts or refuses his offer. So think of yourself that way. You sit back, observe, and either accept someone's offer to have you join them or to join you, or refuse their offer or their behavior. And so that is a main component of being feminine. So again, in point number 3, how femininity seeks its safety and comfort. When you think of with other feminine or female organisms and beings, organisms, I would say, it is a female who hides, protects, and burrows the eggs most of the time. Okay, we're going to use what happens usually here. There are exceptions, of course, but usually it is a female who goes and seeks comfort and protection for the eggs or the young or the babies. How can someone who sacrifices themselves, who is the first to fight, who is the first to be daring, seek comfort and safety for its egg? It doesn't correlate, right? Exactly. And so that's the point. I feel like society has talked us into, saying, oh my God, I have to sacrifice myself, da 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 da. But then you're overriding your basic human behavior in a way. And of course you will feel burned out, of course you will feel resentful, of course you will feel stagnant, you see, because you're doing something. If a feminine being is doing that, they're doing something that is now making them masculine, now taking them out of their said femininity and putting them now inside of a masculine shoe, inside of a masculine role. So I want to say a few things that I wrote here that emphasizes safety and comfort for a feminine being. So the desire to have a provider is a very feminine trait, okay, that goes on to being safe. So desiring a providing partner leads to safety. Okay, desiring a safe and provider partner leads to safety. Vetting someone or a situation, a friendship, a job, a partner, a marital partner, and so on and forth, that leads to safety. So that is also a very feminine thing. Contrary to popular belief, if you have to vet someone or do a search or someone or a background search on someone, then you're being in the doing. No, you're actually being in your safety and feminine energy by seeking to protect yourself. Seeking financial security is also a feminine trait and leads to safety, because in the world we are right now, financial security is very important in being safe. You can't have financial security, then you can't have a home over a roof over your head. You don't have financial security, you can buy lamb chops and eat it, okay? And I need my lamb chops, okay? And you get the point of what I'm trying to say. Seeking a sense of safe community is also a feminine trait. I actually learned this recently from one of my girlfriends. I was out of town and she happened to live in the town that I was in, and so another friend of mine moved into that town, so I introduced them, and so they are becoming friends. And the initial friend was like, oh my God, Krista, I crave a safe community. Okay, I like women who like women, I like women who help women and who encourage women. And I was just thinking, wow, that is truly a feminine attribute. Contrary to, oh, women are jealous, so you have to protect yourself, you have to keep them at arm distance. Femininity is what seeks community. Okay, imagine having a child and not seeking community or seeking a village in a way to help you nurture, raise that child or scold that child when they stray. That's usually what feminine beings seek, a sense of safe community. So seeking safety or seeking a community platform is actually a very feminine trait. Being unreachable by nonsense leads to safety, which is also a feminine trait. Usually, personality wise, you'll notice boys are little men, young men or boys usually are the ones who take big risk, okay? That they're the ones who like jump off the roof, jump off the chair, does really crazy thing. But when you see young girls or younger women also take risk, right? But it is the male, it's a masculine aura, the masculine essence. It is their desire to go and cause disturbance, get risk. There's nothing wrong with that, but there's a reason why that is. Whereas in a feminine, like a young girl, a feminine children are usually normally feminine until society molds them into whatever. But a feminine girl or a young woman or a young girl usually likes to be safe. She wants to play with her dolls. She wants to like do her little science projects. She wants to dictate and like delegate and plan her life and her projects and so on and forth. But they're not just like aggressive in wanting to take risk, fall down the steps, or do anything crazy like that. And another point that I wanted to bring up is women are born with their eggs. All women are born, not usually, all women are born with their eggs. Hold on, let me just move. I don't want this to burn. I'm like talking a little bit too much. But women are naturally born with their eggs, okay? So even while you're fully developed in your mother's womb, you already have your eggs inside of you. Okay, so think of that. Think of a being, an entity that brings life into this world. Think how much safety that entity will crave if they are fully responsible for all the life they're gonna bring from birth. They're gonna seek safety. That's why even little girls seek safety, okay? Whereas boys create their eggs, the boys make their sperms. So if they don't care, they will just make more. But femininity is already given a source of life to take care of since they are brought into this world. And it shows a natural feminine woman, naturally, who hasn't been tainted by society, conditioning, and so on and forth, wants safety. It's like our innate thing, not only for ourselves, but for that potential offspring. Whether we decide to have children or not, we still innately think of ourselves and that offspring. Is your genetic coding. To override it, to go the other way, which is possible, is also means to bypass your genetic coding. It just doesn't make sense. It's okay to seek safety, feminine beings. Contrary to what society tells you, if you want to be safe, then you're masculine, you're a gold digger, you're whatever. That's not the case, ladies. Really sit and ponder on what I just said and research it too, right? If you think I'm wrong, research it. Write it in the comment what you think is right. And another thing, my final point in point number 3 is what ensures safety as a feminine entity? Boundaries, planning ahead, and so on and forth. Of course, don't be rigid, but have vision. All right. So point number 4 is femininity requires results and has purpose. So now I'm going to put the lamb chops on the stove. Oops. The oil has cooled down a little bit, so I'm going to reheat it back up. So point number 4 I wrote is femininity requires results and purpose. Again, imagine that as a woman, right, who wants to have children, of course, right? That feminine entity, imagine her carrying a child on a normal, safe environment, carrying that baby to term. And imagine once she carried that baby, when it's time to give the birth, even going as far as going through labor and so, and then that baby disappearing. Like, oh, what happened to the baby? Oh, nothing. That just happens. That really doesn't make sense, right? So femininity requires results. You get pregnant, you nurture that baby, you nurture the egg, it turns into a baby, and so on and forth. You guys know how it works. And then you give birth, and the result of your labor is that human being that you are holding and taking care of. So what is it? You have purpose and results. If you don't want to have children, that's okay. I'm even on the fence myself on having children. It's not that I don't want to have children. That's a different topic for another day. But I just haven't met someone that I fully would want to procreate and recreate. For me, having children or being pregnant is not just like, oh my God, I love this person, so I want to have children for them. For me, I think about my nieces and my nephews. I think about my sister, if she were to have children someday, my community, the people I love. And I think of, if I were to have a child with the wrong person, I am literally procreating, recreating. Let's say I have a child with a bad guy, a narcissist, a predator, a not so good person. Then that person is I just multiplied him for endless generations. And that scares me. The thought of that scares me. I'm doing inner work around it. I told you all briefly in a previous video, I have been assaulted before. So because of that, I'm not sure if that's the reason why I have a very cautious approach with this. But I haven't met a man, or maybe I've met them, but maybe I'm putting my limiting beliefs as well. But I haven't met a man, or I haven't met myself to the point of meeting a man who I thought I would like to procreate him. I would like to have this human around the offsprings of my community. That's just why I'm on the fence about having children. I've met great men in this life. I've been engaged to great men. They're amazing. Maybe I am very picky also, so that could be a reason. But I just haven't met anyone who I thought, wow, I am so safe enough that I want to have their children and multiply them yet. Okay, I still have time. So, one moment. So back to the point I was making. So femininity requires results, because something that is expected to bring children, to bring life into this world, that entity. So a person that is required to bring life into this world, that entity needs results, right? Because the result of carrying a child is that you have that human. Okay, the result of having a provider means that person provides for this child that you labored into this world, you see. So femininity requires results and has purpose. Femininity is not just sitting down, not knowing what you're going to do with yourself, what you want to do with yourself. Of course, it's not like you're not going to go find the partner. You're not going to go make them get you pregnant. Okay. Now that's what masculinity is. But femininity has purpose in seeking results, in seeing probabilities of things, and kind of projecting a vision of the future. So back to my initial point, something that brings life into this world needs results, needs to see the results, and has purpose and develops purpose. And femininity, we are the flow, so we don't have to go with the flow. So a lot of times telling a feminine woman, just go with the flow, like, one second. So telling a feminine woman, just go with the flow and so on and forth, that would be like telling water, go here. Like finding a water inside of a riverbed or whatever and saying, go here, take this turn, get into this riverbank, and so on and forth. That is impossible. That's something that you're not able to do, right? Because why? Water finds its own path. Femininity finds its own flow. You don't have to tell it to go with the flow. And you know what goes with the flow? Dead fish. So femininity has her flow or finds her flow. And the only thing that goes with the flow, in my opinion, is dead fish. Only dead fish go with the flow. I heard that quote a long time ago and I live by it. Okay? So anyone who tells you, oh, go with the flow, we don't need to get married, you don't need to have these expectations, just go with the flow, they're telling you to literally override your feminine makings. I would rethink or reconsider whoever is telling you to simply go with the flow without any result. Point number 5 is femininity is wise. Oh my God, this knife is so dull. One second. Okay, hopefully this helps. Wisdom comes from intuition, right? And experience and so, but truly wisdom comes from intuition. And oftentimes people say women feel things, right? Woman intuition. Well, how can you feel things, have intuition, and not be wise and not cultivate your wisdom? That doesn't make sense, and that's also not feminine at all, okay? Wisdom comes from intuition, and femininity feels, and intuition comes from that feeling, that gut feeling that most women have, or they say that most women have. So you can cultivate it. That is actually an advantage that you have as a feminine entity, as a feminine being. Okay? I am just butchering this thing. It's so hard making a video and like talking at the same time, being on the frame. Oh my God, how do people do it? Every day I have respect for people who make content and do this often. But anyway, so point number 6 is femininity receive. Okay, think of anatomically even. What is your body designed to do as a feminine being, as a woman? Your body is designed to receive, to get something inside of you, right? And the masculine gifts, they literally are designed to put something inside of that feminine entity, right? So femininity receives things that are conducive to her peace, conducive to her safety, conducive to her protection. And when she does not receive these things, a truly feminine woman will walk away from you. A truly feminine woman, not a baby, not a baby stuck into a woman's body, but a true feminine woman. When she's not safe, it's difficult for a true feminine woman to override her desire for safety, as we talked about in the previous point, right? So a true feminine woman needs to receive safety, comfort, provision, and results, and her well-being. If she doesn't, that means what? Her femininity is in jeopardy. And what happens when her femininity is in jeopardy? She walks away from you. Okay, she will just walk away from you. I have walked away from people who have great potential because tangibly in that moment, I did not feel safe with them. I did not feel safe to be around them. I did not feel safe with a future in front of them. And it's heartbreaking. It's really difficult and heartbreaking. But that's a decision that I had to make as a feminine being. So you wouldn't put anything that doesn't belong inside of you, right? So if femininity receive and we receive, if you know what I mean, and normally a healthy human, when you put something in your mouth to eat it or to nourish yourself, if it's bad, you wouldn't eat it, right? You'll be disgusted by it, right? Well, same thing with femininity. Because femininity receive doesn't mean it's just designed to receive just anything, okay? So femininity receives, but emphasizes only on receiving things that are good for her to receive. You wouldn't put something bad in your body. You wouldn't consume something bad, right? You're not going to put, oh my God, that thing is so unhealthy for you. It's not going to help you grow. It's not going to help you be safe health-wise. But I'm just going to consume it anyway because why not? That doesn't make sense, right? So femininity doesn't receive anything inside of her that doesn't keep her safe. It is almost impossible to get a truly feminine woman to receive anything inside of her, in her energy, in her home, in her energy, if it is unsafe or unconducive to her safety. Okay? At least not a healed feminine woman. 1 second. So if you wouldn't receive or take in anything that's unsafe, why would you receive mediocrity? Why would you receive someone who can't provide for you as a feminine being? You shouldn't. It's inconducive to your biological making. It's inconducive to who you really are if you do receive things that are not good for you as a feminine being. Something happened to you that, I don't want to say made you broken, but something happened to you that makes you override your core basic necessity as a human, as a feminine being. Find out what that is and heal yourself from it. It has happened to me too, being assaulted. I had to go through therapy, go through anything I had to go through, and find a way to heal that aspect of myself so that I don't go out there doing God knows what because of trauma. All right? So just because femininity receive doesn't mean you are just, as a feminine being, you should just receive any old dirty thing. Not a dirty person, not his dirty principles, not his dirty mindset, not his dirty D, okay? Not his dirty anything. Okay, that is dirty fingers, nothing. You are not to receive anything that is dirty or not good for you, because you are a receiver, so you can amplify. If you put something dirty in your mind, in your spirit, in your body, you are going to amplify that. It's going to become a bacteria or whatever, worse. Okay, it's not good for a feminine woman to not receive good things. It's really, really bad for us. So again, just to recap, in point number 6, femininity receive. And femininity receive not just anything, but only good things that we can truly amplify. Okay, now point number 7. Point number 7 is actually going to be femininity requires maintenance. Okay, I'm gonna explain what I mean by now. Just give me 1 second to check on. Oh, the lamb chops are coming along so well. I can't wait to show you the final results. So point number 7 is femininity requires maintenance, right? Think of a garden. Think of a garden, okay? What do you do to a garden? You upkeep that garden. You take weeds out of it that aren't supposed to be there. You trim the branches on the flowers. You give it fertilizer. You take care of it, right? So femininity requires being taken care of. If not by a man, by herself, until whatever entity she decides to accept into her life can help her along or continue that maintenance, that good maintenance. Okay, it's not like a feminine woman doesn't just sit on her tush and just doesn't do anything for herself, doesn't, you know, grow, maintain herself in any way, and then wakes up and say, well, I need to be provided for. Well, how are you living before you were you provided for before? Like, were you providing for yourself? How, you know, your family should have been kind of providing for you in some way as a child, and then as you grow up, you grow into being maintained by yourself until you realize, okay, this is what I need to enhance my maintenance, right? So femininity does, again, require maintenance. And maintenance can mean different things. It's not just physically. I mean getting your nails done, your hair done, your appearance, and so on and forth, because those are important. But when I say maintenance, I also mean things on a deeper level. So when I say maintenance, I don't only mean the physical maintenance, that is important too, but I also mean spiritual maintenance, mental maintenance. Okay, physical maintenance as not only your nails and your hair and your appearance, but your inner, your teeth, your health, your feminine health, and what's on the inside also. But overall, femininity requires maintenance. Anyone who tells you that it doesn't, or you know, you should be low maintenance, that is not an attribute of a feminine woman. Of course, you know, not everyone wants to put makeup on all the time. You know, my sister, who is ultra feminine, I think I have a video of her. Have you noticed, like, us playing tennis or us when we were driving, she's stunning. Not a lick of makeup, not an ounce of makeup on her face. She literally puts Vaseline on her lips. Okay, but she's ultra feminine. She still maintains herself. She still files her nails down. She still, you know, get her pedicure if she wants to, and so. But it's not, being maintained doesn't necessarily only mean just like being maintained doesn't necessarily only mean just like pounding makeup on you, wearing extensions, and so. If you want to, I wear makeup, I wear extensions, I like to dress a certain way, I love to wear heels and so on and forth. But just because you're feminine doesn't mean you have to do those things. It just means you should maintain yourself overall. Cultivation equals maintenance. When you cultivate your intellect, when you cultivate your integrity, when you cultivate your hobbies, your personality, when you cultivate the type of woman you want to be, the type of wife you want to be, that is all a form of maintenance, you see. Okay, so let's move on to point number 8. Point number 8 is femininity does not rush. I've said this before and I will say it again. 1 second, please. So point number 8 is femininity does not rush. Okay, and what do I mean by that? Imagine rushing a tree to bear fruits. That doesn't make sense. You can put hormones and stuff in it, but again, now you're making it GMO or non-GMO or whatever. You're making it not unnatural, okay? So you cannot rush a feminine entity to do things. Of course, we should be mindful of time management, right? But again, nature is always on time. The winter, fall, spring, and so on and forth. But the trees do not rush themselves to bear fruits. So think of yourself like that. You're on times to things that are necessary, seasons and so, or work, or so on and forth. But you are not rushed to deliver things that you should be taking time, taking care to produce, okay? Or imagine rushing a pregnant lady to give birth. That is a really bad thing. If it's not a crime, it should be. I think it is, but if it's not, it should be, okay? And also, there is a difference between moving at an intentional pace and rushing. And what do I mean by that? So some of you know I work different jobs. So sometimes on one of my previous videos, I work every single day for 2 months, 3 months. I work, okay? Now, I don't do crazy, strenuous things, but I'm traveling. I could be from one airplane to the next, traveling to the next city, doing this and that. To somebody looking at me from the outside, they're like, oh my God, do you get burned out? No. You know why? Because I'm traveling, but I still find a way to go to the spa. I still find a way to upkeep myself. The only thing I feel burned out if I'm dealing with a man who's taking from me, taking my time, taking my energy, and not replenishing me, and I'm working that hard. That is the only time that I feel burned out, when I'm dealing with anything that is not conducive to my peace. I know I'm working, I'm making time to make these videos. That is a sense of work. I enjoy doing it. I enjoy talking to you all, but it is a little bit of having to put in work, having to put in effort, okay? 1 second. This is so good. I can't wait for you to see it. Again, back to the point, there's a difference between moving at an intentional pace and rushing yourself, okay? And again, while I'm doing these jobs, working, traveling, going to the next city, sometimes people ask me like, oh my God, what is it? Like 2 months ago, or even last month, I was in seven different states within 3 weeks, working, each of them, having layovers. I think I was in a total of 17 airplanes within 3 weeks. And actually, I've done more than that. But again, I'm moving fast. I'm moving at a high pace. But everything else, there are things in my life that are routines and rigid, okay? There are things that if it doesn't make sense, I won't even fuss about it. I'll just remove it, okay? Even in dating, oh my God, I was being courted by this person who I really had high intentions and hope for. I was really excited, and I think maybe I may have just moved a little bit too fast. I may have allowed us to move a little bit too quickly. But when I realized that, oh my God, this is not conducive to me, it's all love. I just ended, like, things just ended naturally from both ends, okay? He stepped back, I stepped back, we're good, okay? So again, femininity, you can move at an intentional pace without necessarily rushing yourself, without like saying, oh my God, this has to be done, I have to do this, okay? The lamb chops are ready. I'm gonna show you a final snippet in a moment. I just need to have them still warm, so I'm gonna put them in the microwave for a second, because I don't like necessarily like having them cool too quickly, since I'm talking and not moving at the fast pace that I usually move at when I'm cooking. So yes, you can move in an intentional pace as a feminine woman, but you don't have to move fast. You don't have to like do too much. You can do intentional things that from the outside it looks busy. From the outside, people are like, there was a time where I literally wasn't in my apartment for a month and a half. Like, my electricity bill came and it was $3. That shows you how busy I've been, and I have not been home. But I wasn't burned out. I kept my routine. I worked out, did my meditations, did my yogas, found my gym in whatever area. If I couldn't find the gym, workouts in my hotel room, only talk to people who didn't stress me out. My phone is on do not disturb, so I'm only focused on the work. I'm only focused on the goal. Okay, I'm recording my YouTube videos. There was a time, I kid you not, and again, I didn't feel burnt out, but I was working between 80 to 100 hours a week between my regular job events, traveling, and making videos. So, but I did not get burned out. You know why? Because intentional pace is different from being rushed. What almost caused me to burn out was, again, dating and talking to someone. They wake up, they call me, they're going to bed, they call me, I'm not being fully provided for, but it's like I have a third job. It's like I have a fourth, fifth job to entertain this person, and I felt like just getting drained, but again, it's all love. Whoever, I wish this person the best. They're an amazing person, but again, the only time I feel burnt out is when I have an overwhelm of masculine energy around me, but I'm doing unnecessary work. Okay, but anyway, point number 8 was femininity does not rush. Just a second. I'm just sauteing some vegetables with the lamb chop. I was gonna make this salad, but I'm feeling a little tired and or a little lazy too, so I'm just gonna saute some vegetables and eat it with the lamb chop. I'll show you the finished results in a moment. So point number 9 is femininity requires respect. That is self-respect and respect from others who are around her or who are in her environment and energy. Okay, and what ensures respect for a feminine being? Boundaries. You have solid boundaries, I promise you're gonna have solid respect exuding from you to others and from others to you. That's it. When you have solid boundaries, the only time when someone tries you, you just you exit them out of your life. Simple. Okay, when you have boundaries, you have peace of mind. When you have boundaries, you can move at the speed of light and maintain your peace, maintain your safety, and so on and forth. This is what I plan on putting the food inside. I love decorating my food. I should have a bigger plate, but I'm just gonna eat the lamb chops with my hands and eat the veggies with a chopstick or fork or something. So it doesn't I don't mind eating with my hands. You can take the girl out of Africa, but you cannot take the Africa out of the girl. Okay. Second. So back to point number 9. Point number 9 was femininity requires respect. Respect from yourself. You need to be able to respect yourself as a feminine being, and the people you choose to surround yourself with also need to respect you, or you drop them. Okay, and what does that look like? Having respect. Having respect means having boundaries, having solid core boundaries that even you don't disregard, that even you don't bypass. Okay, for an example could be, we talked about in one of the earlier points that femininity doesn't have to agree with you, but it does have understanding, right? So if you have solid boundaries as a feminine being, and you can say, you know what, I understand you need to sleep sleep with me before marriage, but that's not something I agree on. If this could be like, this is just an example. I understand you need to sleep with me outside of marriage, but this is not something that I agree on. So my boundaries is that that's not going to happen, but I do and respect you enough to let you go into the world full of many women who are able to do that for you. It's all with love, and I wish you the best. Okay, but you cannot have even that boundary if you don't have self-respect, if you don't respect yourself, and if you don't surround yourself with others who respect you. Because even if you have boundaries, if you don't surround yourself with people who respect you, someone might try to take advantage of you or try to bypass that boundary because they don't respect you. It is your duty as a feminine woman to keep yourself safe. Okay, And overall, for me, I think that femininity means being clear and rigid in your self-respect, in your boundaries, but also being fluid and flow in being adaptive. You want to be adaptable as a feminine being, but you can be adaptable with boundaries. that is a complete normal thing and possible thing to have. I don't have a point number 10, so the point number 10 is actually, I'm inviting you to pitch in now. I'm inviting you to share with me now, what do you think is the 10th thing a feminine woman has? What is the 10th attribute of a feminine woman? I'm inviting you to share that with me. I would love to hear it and see it in the comment section. It really makes me happy when I get comments from you all. Literally, I scream and pray and bless every single one of you who comments me. I don't know why I do it. I just get so excited whenever I get a comment, and I'm so humbled when you guys choose to share your kindness and your kind words with me. Okay, thank you so much for watching. Again, please like and subscribe to my channel, like the videos. It really helps me a lot. It helps the algorithm push my videos out there, and so hopefully I can keep growing as a channel, as a feminine woman, and as a member of this beautiful community that we are building here with the Feminine Takeoff. Let's take off to better ourselves. And now I'm gonna actually just show you the final results of what I've been cooking for the last hour. So anyway, thank you for watching. Mwah. So I'm just gonna garnish it with a little bit of tomatoes, and I love to just always garnish things with fresh basil. So here are the lamb chops. I'm just gonna garnish it with some balsamic vinegar. So the kitchen is clean, well, mostly, and the food is ready, and now I'm going to get started and have dinner. Thank you so much for taking time to watch me here with the Feminine Takeoff. I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know which topics I should discuss next, and let me know if you would like to see more videos like this of me interacting with you. It's my first time doing it. Forgive me if it is rusty or like unprepared, but I'm learning as I go. But let me know what you would like to see more, and so on and forth. That will really help me on how to maneuver with this channel. So again, I'm just gonna actually show you the finished results. This is the final result. This is what we have here with the lamb chops. I hope that it looks good or so up to par. But anyway, thank you all for taking time to watch my video. I will see you in the next one. Mwah.